If you are over 60, taking vitamin B12, and also using certain medications, you could be increasing a risk that almost no one explains, and today I'm going to show you how to avoid it and protect your health in a simple, practical way. Pause for a moment before your next dose. What you're about to hear can make a real difference in your well-being. Many older adults, with the best intentions to take care of themselves, are making a silent mistake that doesn't cause pain, dizziness, or any obvious warning sign, but over time can affect the heart and brain. As you watch this video, the same thing is happening inside thousands of people. And the most concerning part is that it doesn't show clear symptoms. There's no urgent signal telling you to stop and seek help. Everything seems fine, but it's not always that way. Here's the reality. Even something as trusted and well-known as vitamin B12, with all its benefits, can behave differently than expected when combined with certain common medications. And this is not always clearly explained. In my experience as Dr. Gabriel Mena, I've seen cases that made me reflect deeply. I remember a 68-year-old patient, very disciplined about her health. Every morning she took her vitamin B12, convinced she was doing the right thing. She walked, ate well, followed all the recommendations, yet she began to feel more tired than usual without a clear cause. What we discovered later is something many people don't know. When vitamin B12 is combined with certain medications, especially in high doses or over long periods, it can disrupt internal processes in the body. One of them involves a substance called homocysteine. At normal levels, homocysteine is not a problem. Your body manages and eliminates it efficiently with the help of B vitamins. But when that balance is disrupted, it begins to build up. And this is where you need to pay close attention. When homocysteine rises, it acts like sandpaper inside your arteries. It doesn't block suddenly like a clot, but it slowly wears down the inner walls of your blood vessels. It causes inflammation, stiffness, and makes it easier for more serious problems to develop over time. It's a progressive, silent, but very real kind of damage. That's why today we're going to speak clearly which medications can create this issue when combined with vitamin B12 after 60, and most importantly, what you can do right now to prevent it. Because this is more common than you might think. Many people follow supplement and medication routines without having all the necessary information. And it's not carelessness, it's simply that no one explained it in a clear, simple way. There's something important I want to share with you. In studies conducted with older adults, it was observed that those who took high doses of B vitamins for long periods under certain conditions did not reduce their cardiovascular risk as expected. In some cases, it even increased. This surprised many specialists. But when we understand what's happening inside the body, it starts to make sense. Let's go back to the case I mentioned. This patient had been taking metformin for years to manage type 2 diabetes. A very common and effective medication. But what no one had explained to her was that over time, metformin can interfere with how your body absorbs vitamin B12. Let me explain it simply. There's a substance in your body called intrinsic factor. Think of it as a vehicle that transports vitamin B12 from your stomach into your bloodstream. Imagine B12 needs a taxi to reach where it needs to act. The problem is that metformin can gradually affect that taxi, making it less efficient. So even if you take vitamin B12, it doesn't always reach the places where it's needed. So what happens? Your doctor sees low levels and recommends increasing the dose. You take more supplements thinking you're helping your body, and logically, that makes sense. But here's the key point. Blood tests may show high levels of B12, and yet inside your body, it's not being properly used. And when that process fails, homocysteine begins to accumulate. That excess is what slowly damages your arteries, making them stiffer and less flexible, like a rubber hose turning into a rigid pipe that no longer responds the same way to pressure. And over time, that can lead to serious consequences. That's why it's so important for you to understand this today. It's not about stopping your self-care or living in fear. It's about doing things the right way, with clear information and better decisions. If this information is helping you see something you didn't know before, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here we share daily content designed especially for you, so you can take care of your health with confidence and knowledge. In the next part, I'm going to explain which other medication can also contribute to this issue and what signs you should watch for to act in time. When this imbalance continues for months or years, the cardiovascular system begins to suffer. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's a silent process that can end in a serious event like a stroke or heart problem. That's why connecting these dots is so important, especially if you've been taking metformin along with B12 supplements for a long time. And this is where the second medication comes in, one that almost no one talks about in this context, yet millions of people take every day. I'm referring to proton pump inhibitors, commonly known as PPIs. You may recognize names like omeprazole or pantoprazole. They are used to control acid reflux, protect the stomach, and relieve heartburn. They are extremely common after the age of 60, as the digestive system begins to change. However, there's a detail that is rarely explained clearly. These medications reduce stomach acid, and that acid is not there by accident. It's essential for releasing vitamin B12 from the food you eat. Without the right acidic environment, B12 doesn't separate properly from proteins and cannot be absorbed as it should. Over time, if you take these medications for months or years, your ability to absorb B12 significantly decreases. I remember a 72-year-old patient I treated. He had been taking omeprazole for a long time due to reflux. He was proactive about his health, so he started taking vitamin B12 on his own. Yet he came in with fatigue, weakness, and some mental fog. When we looked deeper, we realized his body was not properly using that vitamin. And this is not an isolated case. In studies involving thousands of people using these medications long-term, it was found that after extended use, their B12 levels tended to decrease. The usual response is to recommend supplements, which seems logical at first glance. But here's the critical point. In some individuals, especially older adults, the body does not properly process or eliminate supplemental B12. So it accumulates in the bloodstream but is not effectively used. And when this process becomes inefficient, the same issue appears again: homocysteine. There's also another factor that complicates things further. Some long-term users of these medications experience what's known as a rebound effect. When the medication wears off or is stopped, the stomach produces even more acid as a compensatory response. At that moment, B12 absorption becomes unpredictable. One day the body processes it well, the next day it doesn't. And that inconsistency directly affects homocysteine balance. So everything we've discussed connects at one central point. Homocysteine is the core of this issue. And the concerning part is that it's almost never included in routine blood tests. Your doctor checks cholesterol, blood sugar, thyroid, maybe even total B12 levels. But homocysteine requires a specific test that must be requested. And this is one of the biggest information gaps. Many older adults have never had this value checked in their lives, even though we now know that elevated levels are linked to higher cardiovascular risk. When homocysteine stays elevated over time, three important things happen inside your arteries. First, the inner lining of your blood vessels becomes inflamed and loses its natural smoothness. Second, cholesterol, especially oxidized LDL, sticks more easily to those damaged walls, forming plaques. Third, those plaques become unstable and are more likely to break loose. And when that happens, many unexpected events occur. In fact, in several stroke cases where no clear blockage was found, the issue wasn't the absence of plaque, it was that the plaque was unstable and had broken off. And often, elevated homocysteine was behind it. Now, I want you to be very clear about something. This is not meant to scare you, it's meant to empower you. Because when you understand what's happening inside your body, you can make better decisions. The solution is not to stop taking vitamin B12. That would be a mistake. B12 is essential, especially after 60. A deficiency can cause nerve problems, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and even affect your heart. The key is doing it the right way. First, and this is very important, if you are taking metformin or a PPI, talk to your doctor and ask to evaluate not only your total B12, but also your homocysteine and active B12 levels. Because here's something many people overlook. You can have normal B12 levels in your blood, but the active form, the one your body actually uses, may be low. and that changes everything. Second, consider the type of B12 you are taking. Many supplements contain cyanocobalamin. It's the most common and affordable form, but it requires multiple steps in your body to become usable. And in older adults, especially those taking the medications we've discussed, those steps may not work efficiently. That's why there is another form called methylcobalamin. It is already active, ready to be used by your body without complex conversions. And that, in many cases, can make a significant difference in how well your body actually benefits from vitamin B12. Now, let me bring everything together in a practical way you can apply starting today. Clinical research has shown that methylcobalamin raises functional B12 levels more reliably in older adults compared to cyanocobalamin at similar doses. This becomes especially important as your body's ability to convert nutrients declines with age. There's also something very important almost no one tells you. Dosage matters more than you think. Many people take high-dose B12 supplements, ranging from 1,000 to 5,000 micrograms daily, believing more is better. But your body can only absorb a small portion of that amount. The rest circulates in the bloodstream and may disrupt key processes like homocysteine metabolism. That's why a more targeted dose, around 250 to 500 micrograms of methylcobalamin daily, combined with vitamin B6 and folate, is often far more effective. This combination supports proper homocysteine processing without overwhelming your system. I recently saw this in a patient case. A 72-year-old woman had been taking reflux medication for over a decade and supplementing with B12 for years. She felt fine, with no obvious symptoms, but her homocysteine levels were significantly elevated. We adjusted her supplement form, lowered the dose, and added B6 and folate. Within 3 months, her levels improved, and she personally noticed more energy and better mental clarity. That's when she realized it's not just about feeling okay. It's about truly being well internally. So here's a clear action plan for you. First, review your medications. If you're taking metformin or a proton pump inhibitor like omeprazole or pantoprazole, pay close attention. Second, check the type of B12 you're using. If it's cyanocobalamin, consider discussing a switch to methylcobalamin with your doctor. Third, review your dosage. More is not always better, and in this case, it can backfire. Fourth, request a homocysteine test along with your active B12 level. Don't rely only on total B12. Fifth, consider adding vitamin B6 and folate, which work together with B12 to maintain proper metabolic balance. Remember this, the issue is not vitamin B12 itself, it's how, when, and with what you combine it. Metformin can interfere with absorption, stomach medications reduce the environment needed for proper utilization, and together they can silently raise homocysteine, a key but often overlooked cardiovascular risk factor after 60. The goal is not to eliminate B12, but to use it intelligently, in the right form, at the right dose, and with the right support. If this video has helped you understand something important about your health, I invite you to subscribe, turn on notifications, and share it with someone who needs it. Sometimes, one piece of information can truly change a life. And before you go, take a moment to be grateful. Thank God for your life, for each day you have the opportunity to learn, to improve, and to take care of your body. Because knowledge gives you the power to change your future. Always consult your healthcare professional before making changes to your treatment or supplements. Your health deserves personalized care. Thank you for being here today. On Dr. Gabriel Mena's channel, we are truly grateful to support your health and help you build better habits with clear, practical information. Tomorrow, we'll have a new video created especially for you, so you can keep moving forward with confidence toward a healthier life. I'll see you there.